Guys, you might have seen Captain Yeaw with me the last couple of days. It was a distinct pleasure and an honor to be around this guy. Outstanding man. Shared with me how impressed he is with all of you, with our staff, what we do and how we do it. He is a unique guy. He's not just a SEAL. He is a SEAL SEAL. He is the coach of the SEALs. He's the guy, you talk about SEALs, you talk about this gentleman here. He's obviously older than most of us, but man, I would not mess with him. Let me tell you that right now. Captain Yeaw's 50-year professional career includes 30 years of service in the Navy as an underwater demolition team frogman and SEAL. During that time, he participated in 3 SEAL combat tours to the Republic of Vietnam, where he earned 9 medals with a Combat V indicating valor in combat, including 4 Bronze Stars, the Republic of Vietnam Cross of Gallantry, 7 campaign medals, and the Purple Heart. He served as the commanding officer of both Underwater Demolition Team 21 and SEAL Team 6, the world's premier commando force which killed Osama bin Laden and rescued Captain Phillips from the Maersk, Alabama lifeboat. During his career, he was awarded a total of 45 individual medals and ribbons, including a Superior Service Medal, the Navy Legion of Merit, 5 Defense and Navy Meritorious Service Medals, holds a master's degree from the Navy Postgraduate School, attended the Navy War College, and was president of the 1993 class of the National War College. He attended numerous schools, including the U.S. Army Airborne, Ranger, and Jungle Warfare schools. His wife's a graduate of Maryland. We won't hold that against you. His twin children are both married, successful in their careers, and he has 2 grandchildren. He lives in Florida. We asked him to come up and talk to you. He said, Coach, you just tell me where and when. I can't wait to be here. It's my pleasure to be around this gentleman, introducing tonight Captain Ron Yeaw.
Ready to go? I'd like to talk for about a couple minutes and then show you about an 11-minute movie and then finish up with about a 10-minute conversation. Hopefully I don't bore you too much. Thank you, Rick, for your most generous introduction, and Coach Ash for giving me the opportunity to meet each of you, watch some of your practice, and present to you this evening. Members of the Rutgers University Football Team, congratulations on being accepted as students of such a prestigious university and for volunteering and earning the right to represent the Scarlet Knights on the Gridiron. Your membership on the team will reward you with recognition and honor and a reputation and memories that will last a lifetime. Is Jonah Jackson here in the audience? Hi, Jonah.
How you doing, sir?
How was your practice today? You leave everything on the field?
Yes, sir.
I want to borrow a little bit of what I heard and saw Coach Ash do last night. There's something, Jonah, that I know that you don't know. Matter of fact, that I know that we have in common that nobody else knows. Do you happen to know what that is?
I do not.
I'm a graduate, a 1961 class of Penncrest High School in Media, Pennsylvania. I was born and raised in Media. We're both Penncrest Lions.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
Thank you.
You played at the Lou Scott Field.
Yes, sir.
When I was at Penncrest, he initially coached the basketball team to the championship, and then he became a later principal of Penncrest. So if you have a couple minutes afterwards, maybe we can talk for a couple minutes.
Of course.
I've successfully completed 2 of the most rigorous military training schools in the world. You're going to see a little bit of the movie tonight about some of that training. The reason I brought up Penncrest is I went back in Penncrest in October of 2012 because the Hall of Fame committee, for some reason, selected me as an honor graduate, a distinguished graduate of Penncrest High School, and inducted into the Rose Tree Media School District Hall of Fame. In order to be at the induction ceremony, I had to have a film developed that showed my career. And I'd like to show you that film this evening because it'll give you a little bit of idea of the background of the person you're talking to, because you don't really listen and pay attention unless you really know a little bit about who's talking to you, and do they have a clue do they really know what they're talking about? Hopefully this film will give you a little bit of insight into that. And it was produced by my son in preparation for the 2012 induction ceremony. So we're going to kill the lights, run the movie, and duck so you don't get shot.
Hold it. Bin Laden is dead. Bin Laden is dead. Confirmed. Urgent confirmed. Bin Laden is dead.
Park there chanting USA, USA. That's because, according to reports, Osama bin Laden has been killed.
On May 1st, 2011, the world's most wanted terrorist and September 11th conspirator was killed. In the days and weeks that followed, interest in the secretive commando squad responsible for bringing Osama bin Laden to justice began to get worldwide attention.
They took down bin Laden, the Navy SEALs known as Team 6, a force so elite you cannot apply to join their ranks, you are just silently recruited.
Almost overnight, the unit known as SEAL Team 6 was thrust from the shadows of special warfare into the spotlight as America and the world thirsted for more knowledge about this elite squad. According to officially released documents, since SEAL Team 6's inception, 12 men have been entrusted with commanding this elite unit. Who are these men, and where do they come from? In the case of one Navy SEAL officer, a lot closer than you would think.
I am a proud Pennsylvanian. From Roosevelt Elementary School to Lima Junior High to Penncrest High School to Grove City College, Pennsylvania is in my blood. While at Penncrest, I was in the marching, concert, and dance bands, in theater, and played sports. My mother was an English and speech teacher here at Penncrest. My father, an icon of the community, was an elder in the Presbyterian Church, taught music at Lima Junior High, and English and music just down the road at Williamson Trade School. In 1958, while I was in 9th grade at Penncrest, my father passed away from cancer. I'll never forget just how the Mini community came together for my mother and myself during this incredibly difficult time. The Penncrest High School class of 1961 yearbook is dedicated in his honor. This sense of family and being part of something larger than yourself are virtues that I have carried with me throughout my life and depended on as a successful SEAL team operator.
Following graduation from Penncrest, Ron Yeaw attended Grove City College in Northwest Pennsylvania, a member of the perennial conference-winning swim team, and graduated in 1965 with a Bachelor of Arts degree with honors in economics.
I grew up in Pennsylvania. It's helped make me who I am today. During my summer breaks from college, I served as a counselor, swimming instructor, and coach of the swim team at Buster Crab's Boys Camp. Back then, summer camps meant something. We got outside. It wasn't a video game. We got dirty. We won. We lost. It instilled discipline, the importance of competition, and a spirit of adventure. We developed mental stamina, physical prowess, and dependence on one another. It was here at camp that I continued to cultivate my love for swimming and further develop my skills for operating in the water and working effectively as a member of a team. Little did I know then how much my experiences at camp would take me from my home here in media.
Following graduation, Ron Yeaw joined the Navy and received his commission as an ensign from the Officer Candidate School at Newport, Rhode Island. Looking for a career as a full-time swimmer, Ensign Yeaw sought duty as a member of the Underwater Demolition Teams, or UDT. On May 25, 1961, following the failure of the Bay of Pigs operation, President John F. Kennedy spoke before a joint session of Congress. In the same speech in which he ordered a man on the moon, he tasked Congress with the creation of the world's most elite maritime warrior unit, the Sea, Air, and Land Teams, otherwise known as the U.S. Navy SEALs. The mission was to take the Navy's current underwater demolition teams and merge them with the Army's elite airborne, Ranger, and Delta Force training programs to create the ultimate unconventional warfare commando.
Hello, Pencrest High. My name is Ron Yeaw. Welcome to the National Underwater Demolition Team SEAL Museum in Fort Pierce, Florida, located along the Atlantic Ocean coastline about 2 hours north of Miami. Fort Pierce is the birthplace of the UDT Frogmen, as it was on these nearby beaches that the first volunteers for UDT came to train in 1943. I am standing next to the statue of the Naked Warrior, so named because these frogmen conducted their reconnaissance and demolition operations along enemy-infested beachheads, wearing only a swimsuit, swim fins, and a face mask, and armed only with a knife.
In 1967, Lieutenant JG, or junior grade, Ron Yeaw made the first of 3 deployments to Vietnam as a member of a SEAL platoon.
As the first SEALs ever deployed into combat, we wrote the playbook for SEAL operations that is still in use by the SEALs today. Because of our facial camouflage, we were known by the North Vietnamese and Viet Cong as the men with green faces. Each SEAL platoon conducted between 60 and 100 operations during its 6-month deployment. What made us different from the other military forces is that we wanted to go face to face with Father Death, look him square in the eye, up close and personal, and give him a knockout punch in the eye.
On March 13, 1968, while on patrol in South Vietnam, Lieutenant J.G. Yeaw's 14-man SEAL platoon came under attack and were surrounded by between 550 and 600 North Vietnamese and Viet Cong, during which he took the full impact of a fragmentation hand grenade. In his book, Good to Go, Harry Constance powerfully recounts this day. I walked over to Ron Yeaw. He was unconscious, lying there in a gurney. He had more holes in him than a pincushion. He looked like a sieve. I looked at the doctor. Doc, is he going to live? I asked. I don't know, the doc replied. Do your best, I said. I'm out of here. Lieutenant J.G. Yeaw survived, as did every member of his team, leaving behind an estimated 135 enemy killed in action. That mission is still known as one of the most effective ever executed in the history of the UDT SEAL teams. After leaving the hospital, Ron continued his naval career in the Special Operations community. In February of 1990, Captain Yeaw received his assignment to take command of the U.S. Navy Special Warfare Development Group. This team was the best of the best, an organization known today and around the world as SEAL Team 6.
Keep challenging the operational unknown and never forget who you really are. Proud and professional warriors.
It was his honor to lead these men into the darkest corners of the world, being asked to do what no one else could accomplish. When things go bump in the night, it is part of SEAL Team 6's job to bump back. During Captain Yeaw's career, he was awarded a total of 45 medals and decorations, including the Superior Service Medal, the Navy Legion of Merit, 9 medals with the V indicating valor in combat, 4 Bronze Stars, and the Purple Heart. Along the way, he received a Master of Arts degree in National Security Affairs from the Navy Postgraduate School, attended the Navy War College Command and Staff course, and was president of the 1993 class of the National War College.
Following my Navy career, I spent the next 6 years filling such positions as Program Manager, Director of the Marketing Department, and Vice President of an Operational Division of the Research Planning Incorporated professional services firm in Falls Church, Virginia. For the past 10 years, I've lived in Port St. Lucie, Florida, working for the Wackenhut Armed Security Corporation. My wife, Shelley, is a graduate of the University of Maryland and is a former Chief Financial Officer and Vice President of Research Planning Incorporated. I am the proud father of twin children, Ron Jr. and Donna. Donna is a program manager in North Carolina, while Ron Jr. is currently working as a program manager at the United States' largest military overseas hospital in Landstuhl, Germany. Like my upbringing in Pennsylvania, I've worked hard to instill in them the same morals, patriotism, and passion to excel that I learned while walking these very same hallways at Penncrest. It is truly an honor to have been selected as a distinguished alumnus of Penncrest High School and been inducted into the Rose Tree Media High School Hall of Fame. To those other inductees, thank you for all of what you have done and continue to do. I challenge you here today to participate, be relevant, and contribute to your community. In closing, I would like to reflect on a few of the words contained within the Penncrest High School alma mater. As attendees of this noble high school, they will have meaning in your lives as they have especially had in mine, since they were written by my father. Shrined in our hearts is the memory of the hopes and dreams we share with thee. Thy name in honor high we hold. All hail Penncrest High. Or as the SEALs and my friend, the Naked Warrior here would put it, Penncrest High School. Hoo-yah! Thank you for your attention. Let's bring back some memories, Joan. I have parachuted from an aircraft for an altitude of 20,000 feet at night. I've locked out without scuba the forward escape trunk of an underway fast attack nuclear submarine at night with a depth of 60 feet on deck, surfaced, and then dived back down and locked in. I've parachuted from a helicopter with a 17.5 kiloton nuclear bomb trainer strapped to my waist. I've walked over 150 combat patrols at night with the SEALs in North Vietnam and Viet Cong infested areas of the Mekong Delta, but I have never played football. Why? Because there's a chance I could get hurt, and that just didn't appeal to me. Some people say that football is a contact sport. Football is not a contact sport. Dancing is a contact sport. Football is a collision sport, and people have been known to get seriously hurt playing it. Thank you very much, but that's not for me. I swam in college, and my personal equipment was a 3-ounce swimsuit, and not once in my entire college career was I ever tackled while swimming in a lane. There are some things that SEAL training and life on the teams and training for and participating in actual football games have in common. There are definitely times when you're hurt and will question your desire to continue. When those times occur, and they will, you just have to pick yourself up and continue as best you can. Those who quit will, 10 minutes later, be sorry they did and soon realize the opportunity they just lost. It will not be easy to recover and move on with what you're doing, but it will be something that you absolutely have to do. As the SEALs would say, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in combat. And the only easy day was yesterday. You may not like what you're being told to do sometimes, but as the SEALs would say, sometimes you just have to put your mind in neutral and your ass in gear. You may not like some of the things you're told to do, You don't have to like it. You just have to do it. The mission comes first. And when you're hurting, and if you remember nothing else, remember this. As the SEALs would say, pain is simply mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And my most memorable expression, pain is temporary, pride is forever. You're playing football for a Division I football team. You will have that to look back on the rest of your life. You will have played against some of the greatest competition NCAA Division I football has to offer. In Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State. You will always be able to say that you were part of a Rutgers University Football Team, tradition of bravery and indomitability. The players who preceded you on the team established a very high level of performance, starting with the members of the Scarlet Knights football team that beat Princeton in the first intercollegiate football game played on November 6, 1869. As a member of this year's team, it's your job to maintain that standard, to give it everything you have and leave nothing on the field. To recount a favorite SEAL quotation, first spoken by the 4th century BC Chinese warlord Wu Qi, now the field of battle is a land of standing corpses. Those determined to die will live. Those who hope to escape with their lives will die. The United States Naval Special Warfare community also has a proud history steeped in culture and a tradition of bravery and indomitability. Carved on the base of a large statue in front of the SEAL Museum in Fort Pierce, Florida, one can read the SEAL Code. The creed speaks to our steadfast resolve to never give up, never give in, and never leave a man behind. Parts of it read as follows. Feel free to substitute the large red R in place of the word trident. And I quote, in times of war or uncertainty, there is a special breed of warrior ready to answer our nation's call. A common man with an uncommon desire to succeed. Forged by adversity, he stands alongside America's finest special forces to serve his country, the American people, and protect their way of life. I am that man. Uncompromising integrity is my standard. My character and honor are steadfast. My word is my bond. My trident is my symbol of honor and heritage. Bestowed upon me by the heroes who have gone before, it embodies the trust of those I have sworn to protect. By wearing the trident, I accept the responsibility of my chosen profession and the way of life. It is a privilege that I must earn every day. We demand discipline. We expect innovation. The lives of my teammates and the success of my mission depends on me. My technical skill, tactical proficiency, and attention to detail. We train for war and fight to win. I stand ready to bring the full spectrum of my combat power to bear in order to achieve my mission and the goals established by my country. The execution of my duties will be swift, violent, and when required, lethal, yet always guided by the very principles that I serve to defend. Brave men have fought and died, building the proud tradition and feared reputation that I am bound to uphold. In the worst of conditions, the legacy of my teammates steadies my resolve and silently guides my every deed. I will not fail, and I will never, ever leave a teammate behind. End quote. Some of you are probably now saying, Ron, those are pretty strong words. Do do you possibly have any examples of where SEALs have actually enacted the SEAL Creed? I will now share with you a few actual events that exemplify a SEAL's commitment to those words. Words that will resonate in your lives as your own elite team. The first reads, "Both the lives of my teammates and the success of my mission depends on me." In June 2005, Lieutenant Michael Murphy sacrificed his life on a mountain peak in Afghanistan when his satellite radio failed to operate. He was killed while exposing himself in an open area to make a cell phone call to his headquarters to disclose his unit's location and situation. As a result of his actions, he was awarded the posthumous Congressional Medal of Honor. A U.S. guided missile destroyer and several civilian and military buildings have been named in his honor. His exploits were reenacted in the movie Lone Survivor. In September 2006, Petty Officer Second Class Michael Monsoor was conducting a building clearing operations with his team in Iraq. He sacrificed his life by jumping onto a hand grenade that would have rendered great bodily harm or even death to his teammates. As a result of his action, he was also awarded a posthumous Congressional Medal of Honor. Another Navy guided missile destroyer was named in his honor. While the plane carrying Petty Officer Michael Monsoor's body was making its approach into Los Angeles International Airport, the air traffic controllers stopped all incoming and outgoing flights for 30 minutes to allow the plane to land and taxi unimpeded to a restricted area, thus allowing his casket to be removed and delivered to his parents in a solemn and quiet manner. Petty Officer Monsoor's exploits were reenacted in the movie Uncommon Valor. The final words of the SEAL Creed being, "I will never, ever leave a teammate behind," speak to the bond that each of you have as teammates and the lengths of sacrifice you will be called upon to defend each other, your team, and your institution, and are the background for the following two actual SEAL operations. The first one resonates most strongly with me, and as you saw in the movie, the reason I stand before you here today. On March 13, 1968, my 7-man squad was surrounded in a heavily forested area, which according to locals several days later, was occupied at that time by a main force, reinforced North Vietnamese Viet Cong battalion, numbering between 550 and 600 soldiers. During the encounter, I was critically injured by a fragmentation hand grenade that landed about 3 feet from my left side. I had debris from the grenade up my left side, from my ankle, my leg, side, and back, and several under my armpit. As I was unable to walk, as several large fragments penetrated almost halfway through my left ankle. Wanting to leave no one behind, Chief Richard Torrey offered to help me start our exfil from the area and threw my left arm over his shoulder. That opened up several frag wounds even further and caused severe pain. I told him I would make the exfil by myself using my Car 15 as a crutch. I couldn't spare one man to serve as a human crutch, as with 3 members of my 7-man squad seriously wounded, we needed all the active shooters we could during our exfil to the helicopter medevac zone, especially since the North Vietnamese now knew where we were. I will always remember and be thankful to Chief Torrey for not wanting to leave me behind. The next example involves operations 6 months apart in 1972. Lieutenant Tom Norris from SEAL Team 2 was working with the Military Assistance Command Group that was conducting a reconnaissance and down-the-pilot recovery operations in North Vietnam. In April of that year, Lieutenant Norris successfully recovered 1 downed pilot on each of 2 separate occasions. during the second of which he was wounded. Having recovered, in October of that year, Lieutenant Norris and Master Chief Thornton from SEAL Team 1 and 5 South Vietnamese SEALs were conducting a reconnaissance in North Vietnam to track North Vietnamese progress southward. During an ensuing firefight, Lieutenant Norris was shot in the head and fell into unconsciousness. During his search for Lieutenant Norris, Master Chief Thornton exchanged gunfire several times with the North Vietnamese. Upon locating Lieutenant Norris, Master Chief Thornton threw him over his shoulder, carried him to the beach, inflated his own and Lieutenant Norris's life jackets, and swam out to sea with the rest of the team to make their escape. During the swim, Lieutenant Norris regained consciousness. The team was picked up by a South Vietnamese fishing boat and returned to its base. 1 year later, in November of 1943, Master Chief Thornton was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor by President Nixon for rescuing Lieutenant Norris. 2.5 years later, Lieutenant Norris was presented his Congressional Medal of Honor by President Ford for saving the 2 downed pilots. It's the only time in U.S. history where an individual was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for saving the life of a future Congressional Medal of Honor winner. Master Chief Thornton's actions certainly exemplified the SEAL ethos of never leaving a man behind. Donated by H. Ross Perot, a large statue of Master Chief Thornton carrying Lieutenant Norris over his shoulder is on display just before you enter the SEAL Museum in Fort Pierce. A society is defined by how it treats its weak, sick, and vulnerable. For a SEAL, there is no higher calling than to serve and protect his fellow man. When they get to the mountaintop, the real victors do not raise their arms to celebrate. They raise their arms to help those still behind. But just like in football, it's not win or lose, it's being tested that counts. Only through contact on the field can you truly gain the full measure of yourself and know if you really belong on the team. The SEALs know it, the rest of the Special Forces community knows it, and many of the great Gridiron legends who have come before you know it. Consider this quote from Theodore Roosevelt, our 26th president, who led the Rough Riders to victory on San Juan Hill in Cuba in July 1898, the decisive battle of the Spanish-American War. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who was actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and blood, who strives violently, who errs, who comes short again and again because he knows there is no effort without error or shortcoming. He actually strives to do the deeds to know the great enthusiasms. He spends himself in a worthy cause and in the end knows the triumph of high achievement and at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. In closing, God bless you, Rutgers University football coaches, and you, the players, for being accepted in such a prestigious university and for volunteering to represent your school on the gridiron. Best wishes for a very successful season and for victory in a major bowl game. I will be following your schedule as the year progresses. In addition, God bless all of the men and women of our armed forces, especially those who are currently serving overseas, especially in the Middle East. And last but not least, God bless the greatest nation on the planet, the land of opportunity and individual freedom, including the freedom for young men and women to pursue a degree of their choice at such a magnificent university of Rutgers. Our nation, the United States of America, the good old USA. As the SEALs would put it, Rutgers University and the United States of America. Hoo-yah! Or as you would say, Rutgers University and the United States of America. Rah, rah, hoorah! Thank you.
Wow, Captain, thank you, for your service and making our country a great place to live.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate your leadership and your time here today and great words. Guys, stand up, give them a round of applause, guys. Guys, as always, we have somebody stand before us and share words like that. It's one of the best that we've had, without a doubt. And hopefully you listened to the message. Hopefully some of you took some notes. We'll take some notes and write it down. We've got it videoed if you want to listen to it again. Some really good stuff there, some really good stuff. You talked about comparing the SEALs in football, and guys, we talked about that's not life or death in what we do, but there are a lot of things that they believe in, the values that can help us, can help you, not only football but in life. In this day and age, there's so many things that young men like yourself think are cool. I can tell you right now, without a doubt, what that guy's done is really cool. It's really cool. Going to parties, chasing girls, doing all that stuff, that stuff's not cool. Doing what that guy's done is really cool. You know why? Because he's served the country and he's served many, many people so we can do what we do and play football. That's pretty awesome. So again, thank you. I really appreciate your time. Tonight, guys, again, it's kind of what you talk about. It's about brotherhood tonight. Go enjoy your time together, and let's get ready to have a great day tomorrow. Everybody got it? Stand strong on three. 1, 2, 3. Stand strong.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, can you get us a cup?
Yeah, he's got the camera. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Sweden, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Wow, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, hey, you're welcome. Thank you. Hey, man. Right, you need a handshake here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Coach. Well, my pleasure. Hey, thank you, sir. Hey, man, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. You from Sweden? No. You're from Pennsylvania. Hey, Pennsylvania. All right. Hey, man, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Hey, thank you. Good luck to you guys. Okay. Hey, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Hey, good luck to you, man. Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for coming by. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, sir. Hey, my pleasure. Thank you very much. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Good luck to you. Hey, good luck to you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, man. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, hey, my pleasure. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Thank you so much. Thank you a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, thanks so much. Good. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Hey, Coach, thanks a lot. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for coming by. Hey, thank you, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Good. Thank you, man. Have a good season, man. Hey, appreciate it. Have a good man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good season. Yeah. I appreciate it, man. You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I appreciate it.
My brother graduated from Wilson College at the Church.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, great.
He just graduated this past year.
Oh, super. That's a great school.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Here's the other Swede right here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it.